guys, Kelly Tekin. Welcome back to my channel. If you haven't been to my channel yet, welcome for your very first time. I want to talk to you about the importance of weight training. Weight training is so important, especially the older you get, the more important it becomes. Weight training strengthens the walls of the heart, increases bone mineralization. Your bones are getting stronger. You're going to prevent osteoporosis. You're going to increase confidence. Did you know that weight training increases metabolism? And building muscle is always a good thing. I want to speak to women for a minute. And this goes for men too, but especially us women sometimes just get so worried about our weight, and women, maybe, I don't know if you've ever joined the gym and you start weight training and you think you're doing great, but you look at the scale and it's like, oh my gosh, why am I gaining weight? And so the average woman thinks, well, you know what? I can't weight train because it makes me gain weight. It gets me big. I can't do it. Let me explain why that happens. If you've never done anything, any kind of weight training in your life, and you start, the first couple of weeks are going to be all neural adaptations, which includes when you lift, there is sarcoplasm being pushed into that muscle cell, basically fluid. So your muscle cell initially is going to hold a little more water, which is pretty much responsible for that little bit of weight increase that you see. Now that does not last long. That is very short-lived. That will go away. So I don't want you to be discouraged if you do gain some weight, because it's going to come right off. The key is consistency. I don't care if you work out 2 days a week or you work out 5 days a week. You just need to be consistent. 2 to 3 days a week of training. The difference between 2 days a week and 3 days a week of weight training, the only difference is if you're doing 3 days a week, you're just going to see results faster. You're still going to see results with 2 days a week, but doing 3 days a week, they're just going to be a little bit faster. If you are at risk for osteoporosis, you need to be doing weight-bearing exercises. You don't need to be swimming. You need to be doing something with resistance. Weight training is key. That is absolutely necessary. You can still walk. You can get on the step mill. You can cycle. But weight training is key. That is what is going to increase your bone mineralization. In fact, probably if you train 2 to 3 days a week, you would not surprise me if you told me that your numbers doubled. If you got your bone mineral density tested, and then you took 3 months going in 2 to 3 days a week of weights, you would not surprise me if you came back to me in 3 months and said, Kel, my bone mineral density just doubled. I mean, that's how well weight training works. Metabolism. People think, oh, I don't want to weight train because it doesn't burn fat. Well, let me tell you something. The more muscle you have, the higher your metabolism is going to be, and the more fat you're going to burn at rest. Weight training, just that alone, will increase your metabolism. Going back to weight, I want to tell you something. Have you ever thought about what 5 pounds of muscle looks like? Well, I'm going to tell you, it looks like your fist. It's about like this part of my fist right here. This is basically 5 pounds of muscle. 5 pounds of fat, on the other hand, and it's very bulky. It bulges out. And so when people weight train and they put muscle on, sometimes they gain some weight, but then their clothes get loose on them. It's like, oh my gosh, the waist on my pants is getting big. It's like I'm gaining weight, but I'm getting smaller. This is why that happens, because muscle is very dense and it weighs a lot, but it takes up so much less space. It takes up 18% less space than fat. The only way to change the shape of your body is to weight train. So when you have these diets, they say, get on this diet. You don't need to work out. In fact, we don't want you to work out. To someone like me, that's a big red flag, because that means you're going to maybe lose this weight, but you're going to be the exact same shape. There's no change. It's just like you're that same person, you've just shrunk. When you weight train, when you do your good nutrition and you weight train, the shape of your body will change. Here's a big thing. They lose weight and they've got a lot of extra skin. That is 99% of the time because they have not weight trained as they've lost the weight. Because if you lose 50 to 100 pounds without weight training and you just do it with diet, you're going to have loose skin. And now to go back and tighten up that skin after you've already lost it, I mean, it's really hard. However, if you weight train as you're dropping the weight, things are going to stay tight. When you are balanced and you've got a nutrition plan and you're weight training and you're getting some kind of conditioning or cardiovascular exercise, you create a balance and things are going to happen the right way. One of my favorite things to see when people weight train is the way it sends their confidence up. It's amazing. I mean, I have gotten women coming into the gym and they're so scared, like, I've only done the cardio machines. I've never done any kind of weight training because I'm scared because there's all those big guys over there. Well, that is true at the regular gyms. That is like, there's big guys over there. It's intimidating. But once I get them training and they start getting stronger, they see the results. We keep track of their weights and you see like, oh my gosh, I used to only be able to do 5 pounds on that and now I'm at 10. That's a big deal. These are the women that are scared to come in the gym in the beginning. You know, it's very intimidating. 6 months later, they'll be sitting there telling me how they were out of town at the hotel gym and they went and they were, you know, working out with on the weights with like where all the big guys were. And they were just like, oh, excuse me, I need to get that 50-pound dumbbell right there. They feel good. And that is, I mean, there is nothing better that a woman or a man can wear than confidence. And weight training will increase that confidence. I mean, you can take a person, take a teen, like a 14-year-old or a 13-year-old, and they'll come in the gym and they'll kind of be hunched over a little bit, not a lot of confidence and kind of shy. And I'm telling you, it takes 2 weeks of them coming in and working out, weight training. And all of a sudden, 2 weeks later, they're coming into the gym, they're walking, they're nice and tall, and they're standing up straight, and they're saying hi to people, and they're feeling really good about themselves. And that is such a wonderful thing to see, especially if you have kids or teenagers that don't have the self-esteem that they should have, that you think they should have. If it's a little bit down, I mean, you just throw that weight training in with a good trainer that gives them good workouts and is positive on them and makes them feel good. And I mean, it's a whole different world. I mean, I can't tell you the kind of change that happens with these kids. And the same is true for adults. I've seen it in adults for years. Let me tell you why weight training is so important as we age. Weight training is responsible for our anaerobic power. So we all know what aerobic means, right? Aerobic power. That means like, oh, endurance. We're doing aerobics, like long things, keeping our heart rate up, like, you know, oh, it's taxing our cardiovascular system. Anaerobic is that explosive power. So let's think, when would we use anaerobic power? When would that come into play? Okay, let's think. If you're sitting on the floor and you need to get up, you need anaerobic power to get up off the floor. You need anaerobic power just to get up off of a chair. You need anaerobic power to grab that trash bag and toss it into the bin. You need anaerobic power to pick the heavy grocery bag up and put it in the car, or to get the big package of waters that you're bringing home from Costco. I mean, we need anaerobic power more and more as we age. If you've ever noticed, older people, they get into their 60s and 70s, and even some people in their 40s or 50s. And when they get up from a chair, they make a lot of noise, like, oh, I gotta get up. And it's hard for them. They are lacking anaerobic power. When you weight train, you increase that anaerobic power, and all of a sudden, things like getting up out of a chair or getting up off the floor, or there's a big step, we gotta get up there. Anything that takes that power, that explosiveness, I mean, you're gonna see a big difference when you weight train. And it is never too late to start. A mistake that many people make when they start weight training. They go to the gym, they work out, and remember what we said. We said weight training increases your metabolism. So they're getting hungry, like their metabolism's up. So they're burning things off faster. They're like, oh, I'm hungry. The mistake that people often make is they don't eat the right foods when they're getting hungry. They're getting a little bit more hungry, and they grab a bag of potato chips. They might grab some cookies, like the junk. What happens is they start putting fat on. Now, remember, they're in the gym building muscle, okay? But now they're putting fat on top of the muscle because they're hungry, so they start eating junk. So they get kind of a boxy look. They get bulky and boxy. And this is why so many people think, especially women, I can't weight train because it makes me bulky. Well, it absolutely does make you bulky if you go home and sit on the couch and eat potato chips, because you are putting muscle on and your body's burning fat, but now you've just stopped the fat burning process by filling yourself up with chips or Cokes or cookies and things like this. So what I normally tell people is it's even more important what you eat when you're working out. The old saying of, I work out so I can eat whatever I want, is completely ridiculous, because there's no such thing. Like, if you work out, you need to eat the right things. You're not going to be able to eat just a bunch of junk all the time and work out and reach your goals. It just doesn't happen. Abs are made in the kitchen, and diet is 90% of the whole picture. It's the nutrition that is really where you're really going to see it. But you got to have that weight training with it. Because if you don't, remember, you are not changing the shape of anything. Everything's going to stay the same, and you're just going to shrink down, and If you're straight up and down like this, you're going to still be straight up and down like that when you lose 50 pounds. I mean, not a real big difference. You're still going to be jiggly. Yeah, so you want to weight train. That's just it. I mean, you got to weight train, especially us women in our 40s or 50s. I mean, and if you're sitting here watching this video and you're 70 or 80, it's not too late. You need to get started. You'll be amazed at what people in their 70s and 80s and 90s can do when they start at that age. I mean, it's never too late to start. You are going to see amazing results. Amazing.